Recording to the Cloud, Week 7, Part 2, with Natalia and her students from Costa Rica joining my students here in Indiana and around the world in a session that I haven't tried before. This is going to serve two purposes. For my students, it will be a chance for them to reflect on what they've learned so far in this class and to teach the students from Costa Rica what they have in fact learned, and be a rehearsal for the next 30 minutes or 45 minutes or how long we go. For the students in Costa Rica, it's going to be a chance for you to practice your English skills. So for both, it's a chance to do some international collaboration and use Zoom, I think, in a distinctive way that I've never tried before. And so we'll see if it works. Natalia, I'm thinking that we can have groups of 4. We have so many people here that I don't think groups of 2 will work so well, but I think 2 of my students with 2 of your students might be the way to go. Or maybe even groups of 6. We have 48 people here, so maybe groups of 6. Might be good to get them not to be shy, I think. What do you think, Natalia?
Yeah, I think it sounds good. Groups of 6 is probably good. Are you I can help you check them.
Right. And so with you,
you're gonna do it randomly.
Right. No, I'll manually do it. With you as an instructor in group 1, I'll be in group 2. Bo will be in group 3. Alicia will be in group 4. And
we have another professor here, Jose Miguel Vargas, also a professor from the UCR, and part of his group is also here. There he is. Jose, maybe you wanna
Jose.
So he can be in another group.
Good afternoon, Dr. Bonkin, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here.
So let me give you the prompt. Thank you. So you'll be in charge of group 2. We'll move me to group 3 and the other. So Natalia will be group 1, Jose group 2. I'll be group 3, Alicia group 4, and Lena group 5. Bo will be group 6. I think we'll have about 6 groups. Maybe we'll have a couple more here. So what we'll do is we're going to have you talk about effective learning environments and what are the principles that make for an effective learning environment. In particular, in online learning environments like this, what are your expectations for effective learning environments? What has been your experiences so far in learning in an online environment? What kinds of tools and resources exist to help you to learn effectively and make it more relevant and more memorable for you? And how have those technologies changed over time? So all those kinds of things. And Bo can put the questions maybe up in the Jamboard that we had listed there. And you can put the link here in the chat window so people can click on that who just arrived. That would be good for everyone. So again, we'll have everyone just discuss what they think is an effective learning environment, principles of learning environment, especially online learning environments, and what are your expectations in terms of learning in online environments? And if you were to design an effective online learning environment, what would the design contain? What kind of principles would exist there? And I think we'll have, what you can do is the students from Costa Rica maybe can speak first, and then students from Indiana second, and back and forth in terms of the discussion, and they'll get a chance to practice their English. And then you'll hear from my students and their projects and what they've been working on. And so if I can manually get everyone into groups, I'll have breakout rooms. I'm going to assign these breakout rooms. And again, we've got 46 people. And so I'm going to have about, what does that come to for 6 in a group? Well, that's more than 8. That's like 10 people in a group. No, 8. Let's try it. 6, 8-ish, 7 or 8, 7. Let's try 7.
Dr. Bunk, can I jump in for a second?
Go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell the students from Indiana that it would be a good idea also to ask my students about their learning environment, specifically here in Costa Rica. The technology and online learning, I think, has a different face than in the US, for example, just because of the sometimes limited resources that our students are or have access to. However, they do online, so that might be interesting to know about for you all, about the characteristics, the specific characteristics of how they learn here in Costa Rica. It's very like a localized situation, I would say. And I invite my students as well to just be really open and don't be shy, and have nice conversations.
How many students do you have?
I think we might have around 20 today.
So we might do 4 Costa Rica students and 2 Indiana and an instructor in each group. I think that might work. I'm just guessing here a little bit, but we can always try it again and move it around. So what do we say on group 2 was going to be Jose leading group 2. I've already got group 1 figured out, and okay, and then group 3, I said I was going to be in charge of, right? So I guess I just have to join it. Okay, that sounds good. We got Danielle, we got Eduardo, and then Emily, and both Emilys will be joining with me in group 3 and with 3 of your students. And then we go to group, go to group 4, okay. And now we go, Alicia, I'll put you in charge of group 4 with Elroy and Emmanuel and Estefani and Evan. That sounds like a good group. And then we'll go to the next group, group 5, and we'll put Bo in charge with Gabrielle and Ishma and Juan and Michelle Gilbert, and trying to find more of my students. Somehow we'll go there, and I'll put another one of your students in that room, and we'll go to the next room, and that's group 6. And now we'll do Bo. Thought I had Bo already, but I guess I missed him. And Catherine. And again, I'm running out of my students here. I'm running. I thought there were more of mine, but there's lots of yours in here. So Ty will be in that group. There we go, Ty. You get a chance to practice. And let's go to the last group. Group 7 with Jill and Maria, and all sorts of people will join. And put Lena in there too. I'll put Lena and Jill together. How's that? And you're gonna have a big group there. I think I might, okay. And then I might add a couple people. Sophia, we put you in group 1. And okay, I think I got everyone assigned. And so it'll be a little mixed, but close to having people from Indiana and Costa Rica in every room. We'll do it for 20 minutes or so. Does that sound okay, Natalia? And then come back to a general discussion for another 15, 20 minutes with everyone and have a general discussion about what is an effective learning environment?
Sure, sounds good to me.
Okay. So I'll see you in the 20 minutes or so, and I'll see group 3 in a second. The rooms are open. You can join different rooms that your name's listed with. There you go. I'll join group 3. Zoom recording. This is part 2 is resumed. And I want to thank all of you for the discussions that you've had in the breakout rooms. I want to spend a few minutes before we close tonight just discussing what you discussed in those breakout rooms. Jose's back with us. Thank you, Jose. Natalia, are you back with us? She's not back yet. She's still talking. Natalia, are you back yet? Just checking.
We're back.
Okay, great. I hope I didn't embarrass you too much by telling your students how great you are as a person, as a instructor, and they're lucky to have you as their professor.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm blushing right now.
She's drying her eyes. So why don't we start with you in group 1? And we'll just spend maybe 5 or 10 minutes and then call it an end for tonight. That was longer than I expected we'd be talking, but we had a good conversation in group 3. In group 1, what kinds of things were discussed? Natalia.
Oh, I think I'll leave it up to the students, so they took the lead.
Anyone from group 1 will want to tell us what you discussed? We'll come back to group 1. Group 2.
I'll do it, Dr. Bunk. So your students had very interesting questions for my students. They started asking if they preferred online classes over in person. And my students gave different reasons for preferring one or the other. Usually it has to do with in-person classes being more interactive and they feel more supported by the teacher and their peers in-person classes. We did clarify that these students are going to be English teachers in the future, and that's what they're preparing to be. So for them having the opportunity and coming from Costa Rica being a Spanish-speaking country, many times the moments they have to practice English are in the classroom, and it's difficult for them to have outside time to practice English. So when they are able to get in groups and work together face to face in the classroom, they prefer that kind of support. As the conversation developed, they also said that when it comes to online learning, what they enjoy the most is when those moments are also given online through breakout groups or breakout rooms or smaller groups with having discussions. So I think that in general, they like interactive classes where they can participate. They all agreed that listening to the professor speak makes them go to sleep, that they get bored by that, and that that is not a good learning setup for them, that they have kind of learned about how they learn in online, and they realize that that doesn't work for them. Like looking into a screen with them not participating is not a good way. They like the use of audio visuals and just being part of the class. They like to play Kahoot games, and one of your students talked about gaming or including gaming in online classes. They answered by talking about Kahoot and Geniality, I think is the other app that they like and enjoy. They like competitive applications, or where they can be competitive with their peers. So yeah, if anyone from my group can add to the summary that I made, that would be great. I might have missed important points.
I will say in group 3, we're very similar. I don't have, our group also said that things have improved, maybe, because teachers got some training, but they noted that gamification and interactive boards and some sense of surprise is important, and to focus them. And increasingly, instructors are adopting open education. And so, yeah, there's been, overall, it's been good, a good experience. No one was totally frustrated. People are very open and very knowledgeable. Wouldn't you say, Emily, of the technologies that are out there, like Padlet and Quizlet, Emily?
I would agree.
Anything else, Emily, that they said?
No, I think you hit everything. As they've said that things have improved. We talked about how things were different from the beginning of COVID when everything shut down to now, and how teachers, the professional development that was provided helped provide some structure and organization for them. But they really do like the interactivity and the discussions. They said at the beginning of COVID, it was isolating. And it was hard to work on group projects because they weren't on campus in person meeting people. So being first year students, that was difficult.
That was difficult. Any of the students from group 3 want to jump in here? Anything we didn't say? If not, Jose from group 2, what was this? I jumped ahead of you. I'm sorry.
That's all right. So we talked about two things mainly. We talked about how in online classes we need to connect in a different way. So we discussed the cognitive presence of the instructor in the learning design, right, through materials. But we also talked about the importance of the emotional engagement with the students as part of improving the learning experience and having more meaningful connections with the students. We also talked about the concept of a classroom and how it is gradually evolving. So I think it was Claudio who mentioned that in one of the classes he was taking, at some point they had to make like so many videos that at some point people were making videos like going on a walk outside the house. So that made it seem more natural and more authentic. So I think that that's also like an important component of flexibility and making learning more authentic. So I don't know if Claudio would like to add anything else, or if any of the students in the group would like to complement it somehow. So that was it.
Any group 2 people? If not, let's jump to group 7. I think Lena and Jill were in group 7. I'm not positive. Is that right? So what did you guys talk about there?
We talk about the question of what makes an online class effective, memorable, relevant first. And most of them gave us the answer like interactive activities. They need more communication with the professor, just like what you mentioned in group 2 and 3. And also we have some other questions, also the technology and tools mentioned about the online teaching. And we have some other relevant discussion. I think, Jill, do you like to say something about that?
Oh, yeah. We talk about whether you are in the face-to-face physical classroom or online class and virtual classroom, interaction and communication is the key for the effective instructional teaching and learning. So a useful or very powerful interactive tool, especially online tool, is very important. And they mentioned their professors, their instructors is so good at using this kind of interactive tool. And then they mentioned one interactive tool. I'm wondering if any one of you is interested in it. It is called Genially, which is very, I have never heard this kind of,
Put the name in the chat window.
Genially.
Why don't you type it in there?
Type it.
Genially.
Okay.
Genially.
Yeah.
You can check it out.
Thanks, Bo.
I think,
Wow.
just
You're very fast.
and
Bo knows everything.
And
Encyclopedia bowl.
since they are going to be the teachers, particularly they are going to be the English teachers, they also put focus on the fluency, accuracy, and also the communication skills. So they have to be made themselves understood by everyone. Yeah.
Any students from group 7 want to jump in? Any students want to say something from group 7? Alicia, what group were you? 4 or group 6? I think 4, right?
4, yeah.
Yeah.
I should thank my group members. They share a lot of inspiring ideas, insightful ideas, and I do think I will invite them share with us because I do learn a lot from them. And so I firstly say something about our group members talking about. So we talk about how can we have the successful online learning, and our idea should come from the first clear learning outcomes or goals. So different students may have different ideas or a purpose to learn online. So how can we do? Teachers have their teaching objectives, and for students, they have their expectations. So we should have a match between each other. This is the first point. The second point, I think, is about engagement and interactivity. And because, for online learning, it should be much more interactive. And how can we encourage our students always focus on our online learning, especially sometimes they just feel lost or they just distracted. And so this is another point we talk about. The other point is about we should have a clear communication purpose. That is, we have expect clear instructions, timely responses, teachers and students peer learning, and also availability of addressing the concerns, especially when students have problems, difficulties. Teachers should give timely or immediate feedback, and students may know what's the problems of their learning. Now I would like to invite how about you? Can you share with us some of your great ideas? Because I know that you did well. Okay, please.
Yeah, of course. I would like to first start with just the observation of how great the diversity was, between Alicia out of China and our friends from Costa Rica, and then we had Emmanuel, and myself from the United States, and offering all 3 different diverse perspectives from 3 different countries and the education systems. I thought it was pretty unique too that, we're talking to the Costa Rica students. Obviously their biggest struggle for online learning is having, a great internet and solid connectivity, something that we kind of take for granted for here in the United States. And that we also discussed the difference between professors or instructors or even education systems and their encouragement or incorporating AI. We kind of found Costa Rica is not really there yet, and then Alicia's perspective in China, incorporated a lot of AI. And then in the United States, we're kind of in the in-between, figuring out, a little bit of AI here and there. So yeah, that was mostly my point of view.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, very nice. And how about Arnold? Can you share with us your idea just now? You also give us. Yes.
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, Arnold, I go by both. Yeah. I really
Not
enjoyed
Benedict
talking.
Arnold, but okay.
Right. Yeah. Just like Alicia and Evan had mentioned, we had a lot of good conversations. I think Eloy and Estefani, both Estefanis that were in our group, brought up some good points. And one just being about like some of the challenges of internet and bandwidth, right? And so one of the things that when we were talking about learning environments, I talked about how through your class, Professor Bont, you give us a lot of choice in like the articles that we read, whether we're listening to podcasts, whether we're watching videos, whether we're reading different resources. You give us a lot of choice in how we want to learn. So even within the same class, students can learn different things within that class that are kind of still under the same topic or umbrella. And so I think they brought up some great points. And then we talked about what was better, in person versus online, or maybe it's a balance. And so again, we have a lot of great points that we talked about, and I really enjoyed talking with our Costa Rican friends.
Anyone from Costa Rica, any of the students want to jump in now and add to that?
Yeah, Costa Rica students also share with us a lot of great ideas. How about Carol? Can you share with us? Because just now you talk a lot. Yeah, please.
I would like to add something important that we discussed, which is that we should have a balance between online classes and in-person classes. Remember that in virtual classes, sometimes we skipped some important things about relations, interaction, in personal interactions, and yeah, I think that we should have a balance between virtual classes and in-person classes.
Thank you. How about we go to Bo's group? Bo, were you in group 6?
I think that was the number I got assigned. Yeah.
Does anyone from group 6 want to jump in before Bo? Any of the students who are in group 6 in Bo's group would like to share with us what you discussed?
There's Catherine in her group. There you
go. Go ahead, Catherine.
We were talking about the difference between online teachers and face-to-face teachers, and we don't have too much differences there, but we all agree that we need more fun, more games. So, and also we talked about all the questions. Actually, we had time to do that because we were like just discussing, and I would say that we have a little bit of differences between the Indiana University and Costa Rica, but we all share that we all want to get fun, all want to enjoy online classes too. So that's it.
Thank you, Catherine. That's great. You're right. It seems a common theme was that education shouldn't just be boring.
Exactly.
It should, yeah. There has to be ways to figure out how to make it fun and engaging and interactive.
Yeah.
And so if you go to my homepage, you can have a free book of mine that's on making learning engaging. So you can download it in Chinese and in English. It can be in Spanish if you translate it. Okay. Next time. Any other people from Bo's group and group 6 want to jump in here? Thank you, Catherine and her team. If not, Bo, would you like to do a final recap there? And then we'll wrap up with group 5.
Yeah, one of the things, this kind of piggybacks a little bit, I think it was with what Evan had mentioned, was technology infrastructure and making sure that we had things in place to provide high bandwidth internet connectivity in all areas of the country. And Evan, I was actually thinking about this when you mentioned that when I was doing some work the other day with a school district here in Indiana. The superintendent had actually referenced the fact that a lot of his staff, the teachers at the building, they still don't have good internet connectivity at their house. And so when you have it, it's great, but we end up taking it for granted, even here in different parts of Indiana as well. So that's definitely something to consider. Then when we got onto like how do you prepare for online courses, one of the interesting things, I apologize, I can't remember who made the comment in our group, but they said that they need to make sure that they've got a notebook with them at all times. And so connected this with the one of Zoom's latest releases of its features. They've got an AI companion that's actually built into it now. And if you turn it on, it will actually do like a annotation of all of the comments that are made throughout the course of your class. And so it does a very nice job summarizing everything. So I'm not saying, you don't need the notebooks any longer or anything like that, but it's nice to have those AI tools that are built in there now naturally. So
let me do this. Raise your hands, any Costa Rica students, if you're interested in AI, artificial intelligence. I'm just curious who's interested in AI. And you have to put your cameras on so I can see you. Okay. So nobody's interested in AI. Oh, no, a few. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now they're showing up. Oh, 11, 12. Okay. 13, 14, 15. Everybody's interested in AI. Okay, great. This is going to change the ball game. I mean, change the way teaching and learning happens in really quickly. So thank you very much. I've researched on AI recently. I'm happy to send the professor to share it with you on how to teach languages online since you're all in English. So I've been speaking to English people last week in Egypt. I spoke to English teachers, and the week before I was in Egypt, in Cairo. The week before in Japan, in Tokyo. I was online. I didn't go face to face. And I've been speaking to lots of English teachers. Alicia's an English teacher, and Lena's an English teacher, who are my visiting scholars now. So they're also interested in that too. So Bo, I'm going to stop you there and go to the last group, if that's okay with you. Who's group 5? Anyone in group 5? Sahal, what group are you in?
I don't remember the number, but our group hasn't shared, so I'm guessing we are 5.
Yeah.
So I like to let the students to speak first. So Juan, Gabriel, and Natasha, would you like to share something we have discussed?
Juan, Gabriel, Natasha. Yeah.
Yeah, Gabriel.
So I can do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, we had a really nice conversation, and we were talking about how is our program in the university, how is the teachers' methodology, and well, something that was something that caught my attention, the reaction when we mentioned the bimodal methodology that we use at the university. And I was wondering if you don't use that method in your uh, education system, like it is like a combination of virtual classes and face-to-face classes. So it's like 25% virtual assignments and then 75% face-to-face classes. So don't you use that?
Yes, we do. It's called blended learning or hybrid learning or high flex learning. I, in fact, have a book or a handbook on blended learning environments. It's an old book now, but I from 2006 or something. It's maybe almost before you were born. But it's I can't believe it. Some of you were born like in not much before that. But yeah, so in the States, most things are blended. Most things, actually, if you were to count the number of courses face to face and count the number of courses fully online and count the number of courses combining, I'd say most courses combine. Most courses. Okay. The most effective, there's research from Stanford, the most effective instruction is blended. The second best is fully online, and the worst instruction is face to face. In a large study from the U.S. Department of Education and Stanford University. So it's a very important point. But the problem is there's many forms, many models, many types of blended. There's not one model. There's so many different variations of that combination of face-to-face and online. Does anyone else in group 5 have a comment before we close here? Anyone else want to jump in before we close? Any group, from any group? Anyone want to have the final say tonight? Would anyone like to say the final well wishes between the two communities in Indiana and Costa Rica tonight? Who would like to say the final greeting?
Maybe I just say something like, I'm just so impressed with the students from Costa Rica, and they share their mind, they share their thoughts and experience to us, and we, I've learned a lot from them, and just, really appreciate this experience.
Eduardo is in our group. Eduardo, do you want to jump in and say anything?
Well, I think it was a wonderful experience, and we were saying that we would like it to repeat in the future. It's a good experience.
Yeah. Daniel was in also my group. Would you like to say something, Daniel?
Yeah, as Eduardo said, I really enjoyed the activity. I really enjoyed to share my opinion about online classes or online platforms. So I really hope that we can meet again.
We hear from a female from Costa Rica. Sophia, Astrid, Estefani, any of you want to jump in and have final word? Anyone else want to have final word?
Well,
Go ahead.
In my case, I would like to say thank you to you and also to our professors to invite us to this meeting, because as Professor Natalia said, we have limited opportunities to practice English. So I think that these kind of meetings are really meaningful for us. So thank you so much.
Thank you for that. And Bo raised his hand. But let's do Bo, and then Amelia's coming from Japan. She hasn't talked at all tonight. I haven't heard from Amelia. So Bo, last word, then Amelia gets the final say. You're muted, Bo.
There we go. Sorry. I appreciate the opportunity to learn from so many people from all over the world. The diversity of your experiences and your knowledge background is a lot of fun for me, and I think that all of us are a little bit better off for making these connections like that. So thank you guys.
Amelia.
And I just want to thank Professor Natalia again for bringing in her students who are here out of their class time to meet with us and share their experiences. And it's been a wonderful opportunity to hear from the students directly. And thank you, Professor Natalia.
Thank you.
It's almost like a mini research project for my students to do direct interviews about learning environments tonight. It's almost like a 1-to-1 or 1-to-3 interview session. Natalia, you want a last word?
Yes, I just want to say thank you for letting us come into your class. It was a great conversation that we had. If anyone is interested, if they have other groups, I talked with Amelia and with Carol about meeting again with their students in the different parts of the world. So if anyone else wants to join, just contact me or Jose Miguel, and we would be happy. If it's not with Dr. Bonk, we can also, I know that Dr. Bonk is super, super busy with all his classes, but we can meet outside and invite Dr. Bonk into it. But yes, thank you so much, everyone, for coming, to the students around the world, and to my Costa Rican students. Thank you for being here. And thank you, Dr. Bonk, for the space. I appreciate it so much.
So I'm never busy. I delete that word. Don't want, but I was sick last week when Natalia reminded me of this. I was really feeling bad. I was going through 4 boxes of Kleenex a day to 5 boxes of Kleenex a day. But I got better. I got back on email. I said, maybe I'm better enough to do this. So I'm glad I feel better, and that we were able to make this happen tonight and not delay it. Again, thanks, everyone. Let's do the world is open sign. We'll get a picture with everyone. Up high in the air. Okay, the 1, 2, 3. Great, thank you. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3. Great, thank you very much, everyone. I'm going to stop the recording here. Part 2, week 7 stops now with Costa Rica.